So good day everyone, it's Grizz. So let's think now, the Hayabusa's broke, the Punisher is broke, my new 2010 R1 is broke. Now when you have all your bikes broke, what do? You turn to your old faithful, the Ducati 916. Yes, it's my Ducati, my 1996 Ducati, my unreliable Ducati, apparently unreliable as everyone says. This old baby is rocked up, ready to go, MOT passed, all serviced. I've still got to do the timing belts actually, and it needs the coolant changing as well, but I just put an MOT on it. She's ready to rock, ready to roll. She's looking lovely. Really happy with it. And let's stop talking about it. And let's get on with the commute home, the ride home on the Ducati 916. Yeah, it's spent. Let's start this baby up. Are you ready for this, guys? Look at that. I didn't actually have the choke on. Choke is on. Yeah, I've had it in the lounge, in my lounge, since like last October. So it's spent a long old time in the lounge, and now it's out. What have I done? Changed the oil in the lounge, changed the brake pads, cleaned up the calipers in the lounge. Basically did everything in the lounge. New spark plugs, new air filter, new oil filter, all that. Cleaned out the that other little kind of oil filter that sits above the oil filter. If you've got one, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, and fully serviced it basically. It has been sat for quite some time. Some people are quite nervous about Ducatis being sat for long periods of time. But to be honest with you, it was better off in my lounge for the duration of the winter than it was in the garage. It would just kind of rust away, and also it provided to be a great source of entertainment to me while sat in the lounge. I mean, I wouldn't ever ride this bike through a winter. That would just be silly. And yeah, it was definitely better off in the lounge, but it did stay in the lounge way too long. It stayed there way too long. But I'm glad and happy to have it back out on the road, and for me to be back on two wheels. That's the main objective, really, to be honest. I just become very frustrated with the lack of transport. So out came the 916. And what a good move that was. Can I be cheeky? Little cheeky move. Gotta make sure I don't catch myself out and end up in the kitty litter there. That wasn't really my most sensible move. My apologies. I'll edit that out and you won't see it, and I'll remain a pro in your eyes. So yeah, the 916 is such an amazing bike. This old baby is celebrating her 25th birthday and passed her MOT with flying colours, no advisories. Really superb. Started on the button the first time when I wheeled it out the lounge after 10 months of being sat there. I had the battery on charge, etc. all the time. Not in the lounge, by the way. And yeah, no problems with it really. It's been pretty much plain sailing, dare I say it. With all my other bikes being broken, I'm kind of afraid to ill-fate myself. But yeah, she's been great. It actually passed its MOT yesterday, and I've rode it to work this morning on a cold, foggy morning. I say cold, it's not really that cold, but it's definitely getting cooler. But yeah, superb. Just really great bike. It's just a pleasure to ride, a pleasure to look at, and a pleasure to own, and a pleasure also to work on. Just so easy, like, you know, just like taking the fairing off. It's just you know, a handful of screws really to take off the fairing. It's like with Taffy's LX6R, you need to be, you know, I don't know, you need to have like a Mensa's degree of how to work on the bike to get the flipping fairing off. This thing is just like bish bash bosh, the fairing is off, throttle bodies are off, the plugs are changed. It was just all so smooth and easy to do, and a real pleasure. Excuse me. So yes, what is my intentions now? Well, my intentions is just actually to ride, because I have had, I think, about getting on for a month without any riding. I could have used Taffy's bike, but I don't like using it unless I really have to, and it's her pride and joy. So I've left Taffy's bike alone this time. But so yeah, I've been focusing on getting this bike sorted and fixed and ready for use. Now, what is going on with all the bikes, I hear you say? Well, the R1 is still in the workshop awaiting parts, which is just mind-blowing. It's been going on now, it's been in there I think for 3 to 4 weeks, and I've got so kind of frustrated with the situation that I've actually ordered the parts myself, and I think they might be waiting at home for me today even. So I'll be going to get those and drop them over, and hopefully I can speed up that process and get the bike back. Oh, in all honesty, I just don't think it is the answer to the problem though. I just got this feeling that they're gonna replace this clutch actuator pin and it's not gonna fix the problem. So yeah, I'll remain optimistic, and who knows, maybe it will, but I'm just going to be surprised if it does, you know. Yeah, so yeah, that is basically where I am with the R1. We're going to see what happens, and go from there with it. To be honest, I'm getting so fed up with the situation, I feel like handing it back, but I do love that R1. It is a lovely bike. It's very good condition bike, and I'll be sad to see it go, so I'm not gonna just be flippant with it, but I am frustrated with the situation. Talking of frustrating situations, the Punisher, as I said in previous video, I had managed to snap off one of the pinch, the lower, well, I tightened up the pinch bolt too tight possibly. I find it hard to think that I did, but I guess I must have done, hey? So I needed a new fork bottom, because one of the bottoms of the forks has snapped off basically, which was just as well for it to happen in the garage than out on the road. So I got to do that. It needs new fork bottoms. I found a pair of forks on eBay from a seller, and the seller talked a good talk while we bartered back and forth on the price of what I was going to pay or not. And basically then he said, okay, cool, done deal, we agreed a price. And I said, okay, great stuff, I'll go pay. I went and paid, and he said, okay, thank you for the payment, I'm on holiday at the moment, I'll get it over to you sometime. And I'm like, what the hell, sorry, but I wasn't expecting that, to which I get no reply, and have been waiting 2 weeks since. So so I'm hoping they are going to arrive. I've had to open up a flipping dispute on eBay. I don't know if any of you have dealt with eBay, but it can be a messy place to deal on, but the amount of parts that are available on there does make it very tempting to use, and I tend to use it basically. So let's wait for those. Still waiting on forks for the Punisher. What else? Hayabusa has sat in the corner. I've spent probably about 3 or 4 weekends working on it, stripping it down, putting it back to standard, and then trying to get it started again. And it remains there at the moment whilst I was working on the 916. I've still got a couple of little jobs, like I said, timing belts to do on the 916 and a replacement. I'm going to refresh the coolant on this, although I did it last year. This bike just tends to run so hot that you want to use, I use 100% non-diluted motorcycle coolant, Castrol coolant, and that seems to make it run really nice. It doesn't overheat, and yeah, runs nice and cool, and I'm sure it'll see it through the winter as well. Although I'm not going to use it in the winter. I hope I'm not. Well, you know, I just want one of my other bikes back on the road, and I can lay this baby up to rest throughout the winter months. I'm definitely not going to lay it to rest as long as I did last time. But it is what it is. I had a lot going on with work, and was tired, and had all my other bikes working, I guess. But 916 to the rescue first and foremost. I've changed the brake pads front and rear to ECB or BCE. No, ECB. I'm not sure. Brake pads. I've been using them for donkeys. I should really know. And they are really good, double sintered pads, and they are really making a massive difference to the braking power of this bike. Yeah, I'm really actually impressed with the performance of the bike's brakes, considering this bike is 25 years old. And yeah, just the bike's really running lovely, sweet as a pea, cannot complain at all. Let's filter through this traffic, as you do. Yeah, it turns a lot of heads, this bike. I took it down the MOT station, took it to RJ's again down in Banwell. Thank you guys at RJ and Banwell, you done a great job servicing it, MOT my bike, and being so flexible, allowing me to drop it off and pick it up at my leisure. But yeah, as I dropped it off there, everyone was crowding around it in the car park, basically. It was quite funny, but cool to see, and cool to see that this old baby is still being appreciated 25 years on from when it was first made, although it's far from standard now in its Red Bull attire. Yeah, so weather is complying. I should really be getting this bike back in the garage and getting those couple of jobs done. And with the weekend ahead, the forecast is looking good. I should really kind of be getting this bike serviced or finish off the belt change, and what else, the coolant, and probably do a bit of work on the Hayabusa. But with a weekend of good weather ahead, I'm just sorely tempted just to ride. I've just not rode much at all. I've been super exhausted from my job, which I've now changed over back to driving, so I've got that bit more energy again now. And yeah, really I should be working on this and the other bikes and getting them all sorted, but I just feel like I've just not rode much this summer. It's just feels like I've just been working really and trying to recover all weekend. It sounds silly, it doesn't sound right, and it's not right because I'm not right, but let's filter up here a bit more. I think I'm not going to sit here in this traffic. Let's get and ride. What is going on? A flipping fire engine, that's what's going on. Come on, people. A motorcycle could get up there too. Oh yes, it could. It did. Yay. But yeah, I just love this bike really. It's just it has been my most reliable bike. How is that? How do you kind of explain that? You know, all the talk of the Ducatis being unreliable, and you know, they're not kind of a reliable bike. Well, it is been my most reliable bike out of the fleet. So what do you think of that? You know, dry rattling clutch and all, it's still reliable. So yeah, it still sounds superb. She's absolutely spotless at the moment, really is. Which is this bike, it just makes you, I've never been really one for like polishing and cleaning, although all my bikes are always clean, as you know, but this bike does make you want to get out some polish and polish it. More so like some of the metal bits and pieces, it just makes you want to spruce it up a bit more again. And that's fun to do, you know, when the weather's off or it's the end of the night and you've got a drink or something, you just chill out. Or go and just sit with the missus, more so. But I don't do that really. I do it during the day when Taff is at work. So yeah, lovely jubbly. Now this bike is flipping extreme. It is extreme. There's no two ways about it. Your ass is up in the air and your head's down, and you've got a lot of weight on your hands. I would like to possibly change with the settings of the suspension a bit on this bike, because it is such an extreme setup, and I may well do that. At the moment I've got a strong solution of like injector cleaner and fuel on board, so I think she's running a tiny bit hotter than normal. Let's go. I'm not going to push it, I'm just going to keep it sensible. He says. And it's deceptively quick, this bike, it really is. It just doesn't sound like you're accelerating very hard because of the where all the power is really down low on this bike. The next thing you know, you're kind of going along at a fair lick. But it's also super easy to ride slow. Tunnel. Or is it a bridge? I haven't got the external mic on today. And this bike isn't really actually as loud as some people think. It's not got the big 50, or I think it's 50mm exhaust system. I think this one's a bit smaller, and I don't really think you need it much louder. But what it has got is super bass. It's like super bass. Yeah, it goes right through the bass from this bike. Love it, flipping love it. I have got my phone. I've not left it at work. That is a miracle. And it's been quite some time since I've rode this bike, so I'm taking my time just to get reacquainted with it. I won't be throwing it around too much. I'll just be being sensible with it. Yeah, the belts. I've thought about doing the belts myself. I was going to put it in a garage. I was trying to get it booked in, and there's such a long wait, like a month's wait to get it booked in. So I'm going to do it myself, and I've been looking at it, and it's really not that difficult to do. And I'm really not stressed at the thought of doing it myself. I should be taking my time and make sure I do a good job of things. But you know, I think it's completely doable by yourself. Just do it, man, do it. And I didn't get wiped out by that big truck. That was a miracle. I just need like a day out riding this, just to get and have a bit of fun, you know. I just need a day out in general, really, to be honest, just riding. Was gutted last weekend. I was hoping I would get the R1 back and the weather was good, but that didn't happen. So yeah, I've had a fair old bit of disappointment. So I'm going to try and enjoy as much of the end of this summertime. It's virtually autumn now. And just make the very most of it. That's my intentions, and also to try and put a bit of time aside and get the other bikes fixed. Just lovely, just a lovely, lovely bike. I do love it, skirt lush. Anyway, that is enough from me. Thank you for tuning in and welcoming back the Ducati 916. And I look forward to bringing you some more fun vids on the 916, and hopefully getting the other bikes back and having a bit more fun with them as well. Okay peeps, look after yourselves, and I will see you soon. All the best. Bye for now. Bye.